Hello students, welcome to the biology class. Today we are going to continue with our chapter Respiration in Plants. In our previous session we discussed about the types of respiration, that is aerobic and anaerobic, and today we will discuss mechanism of respiration. Mechanism of respiration. So both aerobic and anaerobic respiration starts with glycolysis. In aerobic respiration, glycolysis is followed by citric acid cycle and then electron transport system, both occurring in the mitochondria. In anaerobic respiration, glycolysis is followed by formation of ethyl alcohol or organic acid that occur in the cytoplasm. So the first and the common step of our respiration is glycolysis. So glucose is converted into the pyruvate by the process glycolysis. Then the link reaction is there by which the acetyl CO enter into the Krebs cycle and then the electron transport chain. With this the aerobic respiration is completed. But if the availability of oxygen is not there, then the pyruvate which is present in the cytoplasm will convert into ethyl alcohol or organic acid, that is the anaerobic respiration. So the first step is glycolysis. It is the first stage and the common pathway of respiration. In this process, glucose is partially oxidized or converted into two molecules of 3-carbon compound, that is pyruvaric acid, without utilizing energy. The scheme of reaction was given by Embedon, Meyerhoff and Parnas. Hence it is named as EMP, E, M and P. So the another name of glycolysis is EMP pathway. What is the site of glycolysis? Where glycolysis takes place in the cell, that is your cytoplasm. The end product of glycolysis are two molecules of pyruvaric acid, NADH and ATP. So now we will see the systematic reactions by which we will get the two molecules of pyruvaric acid, NADH and ATP. So the first step is the conversion of glucose into glucose 6-phosphate by the enzyme hexokinase. So with the help of ATP. So here the glucose is converted into glucose 6-phosphate, means we utilize the phosphate and that phosphate is being given by ATP, means utilization of energy takes place. Next, glucose 6-phosphate is converted into fructose 6-phosphate in the presence of enzyme phosphoglucose isomerase. As we know, the glucose and fructose, both molecular structure is same but the structural formula is different, means they are isomer to each other. Now fructose 6-phosphate is converted into fructose 1,6-biphosphate. Again that is a utilization of phosphate coming from ATP, that is ATP is converted into ADP and that phosphate is being utilized for the formation of fructose 1,6-biphosphate in the presence of enzyme phosphofructokinase. Now this fructose, which is 6-carbon compound, now splits into two compounds of 3-carbon, that is your glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. with the help of enzyme aldolase, and they are reversible to each other. Now this 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde is oxidized to 1,3-biphosphogyceraldehyde by reducing NAD to NADH, because hydrogen is being added means that is being reduced. Now this 1,3-biphosphoglycerate is converted into 3-phosphoglycerate, means one phosphate is there which is being utilized in the synthesis of ATP, that is ADP to ATP. Now 3-phosphoglycerate is converted into 2-phosphoglycerate. There is just a change in the position of the phosphate from 3 to 2. So that is in the presence of enzyme phosphoglycerate mutase. Now this 2-phosphoglycerate converted into phosphoenol pyruvate with the help of enzyme enolase, and again it is converted into the two molecules of 3-carbon compound, that is pyruvate, again phosphate with the formation of ATP, because this phosphate is being taken by ADP and you will form ATP in the presence of enzyme pyruvate kinase. So these 10 steps or the 10 reactions takes place in the cytoplasm, in which 2 ATPs are being utilized, that is glucose to glucose 6-phosphate, 1 ATP is utilized. Then fructose to 1,6-biphosphate, again 1 ATP is utilized. And here directly you will gain, that is 2 ATP here and 2 ATP here. Means 4 ATPs are being synthesized and 2 are utilized. The total gain is of 2 ATPs. Fine, so that is without utilizing the energy, the glucose is being converted into pyruvate, and by the end we get pyruvic acid, we get ATPs as well as NADH. So this is a common step for aerobic and anaerobic respiration which takes place in the cytoplasm. Now if the oxygen is not available, then pyruvate will undergo the anaerobic respiration, that is fermentation in the cytoplasm. So our next topic is fermentation. Glycolysis is carried out under anaerobic condition, is called fermentation. In fermentation system, pyruvic acid formed at the end of glycolysis is transformed to some other substances by taking hydrogen from NADH2. NADH2 is oxidized to NAD, which is used in glycolysis. So types of fermentation, depending upon the product formed in the process, fermentation is of two types. These are alcoholic fermentation, lactic acid fermentation. So first we discuss alcoholic fermentation. In this process, pyruvic acid at the end of glycolysis is first converted into acetaldehyde with the release of CO2. Acetaldehyde reacts with NADH to form ethyl alcohol, that is ethanol, while NADH2 is reduced to NADH. Enzyme pyruvic acid decarboxylase and alcohol dehydrogenase are involved in the alcohol fermentation. Examples are yeast cells and bacteria. So in this equation you can see that the alcohol fermentation occurs in yeast. Glucose is converted into the pyruvate with the synthesis of 2 ATPs and NAD to NADH. So pyruvate is converted into 2-acetaldehyde with the release of energy CO2, and 2-acetaldehyde is converted into ethanol by oxidizing NADH to NADH. Lactic acid fermentation. In this type of fermentation, hydrogen from NADH2 is transferred to the pyruvaric acid formed at the end of glycolysis, resulting in the formation of lactic acid. It involves an enzyme called lactic dehydrogenase. It is found in muscle cells under the physical stress, means while we are doing the physical exercises. So in the muscle, the availability of oxygen is reduced, which they do not receive enough oxygen for the aerobic breakdown of pyruvaric acid. Because of that, there is the formation of lactic acid, and that lactic acid accumulates in the muscle due to the insufficient supply of oxygen and leads to the muscle fatigue or cramps. So in this equation, the glucose is converted into pyruvate, that is the glycolysis, and pyruvate is converted into lactate with the help of enzyme lactate dehydrogenase with the reducing of NADH to NADH. So NADH is being converted into NAD. So the net gain of ATP is 2 ATP. So this is about your anaerobic respiration and the first step of our aerobic and anaerobic respiration, that is glycolysis. And our next lesson will be on Krebs cycle, that is when the pyruvaric acid enters the mitochondria during the aerobic respiration. Till then, stay home, stay happy. Thank you and have a nice day.